During the Vietnam War, while America used an area for strategic planning, the location also had massive stone structures whose origins were lost to time. The area is known as the Plain of Stone Jars, and this is Legends from the Pacific. Aloha, and thank you for joining us. This is Legends from the Pacific, episode 143, The Mysterious Field of Stone Jars. I am Kamuela Kaneshiro, a native Hawaiian professional writer, speaker, and Comic-Con panelist with extensive film and television experience. I study mythology, I've encountered unusual things, and I'm a geek.
In the beginning, there was the Pacific Ocean. A canoe broke the horizon, piloted by Pele, a beautiful Polynesian maiden who dominated the waves until she felt safe to stop.
The audiobook of our Legends from the Pacific Book 1 is now available, narrated by multi-award-winning voice actress Emily Wu Zeller. Emily has worked on anime, the video game Cyberpunk 2077, and over 500 audiobooks including Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, From a Certain Point of View. Just click the link in our show notes to purchase our audiobook and enjoy Emily telling our stories today. Later in this episode, your featured song in Hawaiian word, but first, let me share with you the mysterious stone jars. As usual, I apologize for any mispronounced names or words and appreciate your understanding. So I stumbled upon this and found it very interesting. While the stone jars are relatively newish, I felt it'd be something you'd enjoy. Now, the jars are boulders which have been chiseled into massive cups or jars. They're about a few meters high, some weigh up to 20 tons. It should also be noted, some massive lids were also discovered. The jars were once believed to be 2,000 years old, but this was recently corrected to 3,000 years, which means the jars were created around 1,240 to 660 BCE. While nearby Asians knew of the jars, and honestly they're kind of hard to miss, Western cultures learned of them in the 1930s thanks to French archaeologist Madeleine Colani. However, during the Vietnam War, researching them became very dangerous because America littered the landscape with bombs, and about 30% of them did not explode. So while nature grew around the bombs, wandering along the growth could lead you to one which may blow up. Efforts have been made to find and disarm them, but the labor and cost-intensive process is slow going. Though some jars have Chinese etchings, this could have been added later, sort of like an ancient form of graffiti. Since there's no traces of nearby settlements, the cultures who made these jars and why they did is unknown. So these monoliths are sort of like Stonehenge. In fact, there's a chance similar methods of transporting the stones could have been used because similar jars exist in places like India. As you may have guessed, there are a lot of theories behind these jars. My favorite is they caught water for passing caravans. I mean, this just makes so much sense. Then, of course, conspiracy theorists claim the jars were connected with UFOs. Right. But when human remains with smaller jars were recently discovered buried beside some of the monoliths, this caused many to believe the jars were part of a burial ritual. You see, remains were placed in a jar. After nature did its thing, the remains were retrieved, then buried. While this may seem odd and a bit disrespectful, similar rituals are practiced throughout Asia. But one thing we do know about the jars is the local claim one story explains them. In ancient times, the king of giants, Kung Cheung, led his army against a rival tribe. The campaign was long and challenging, but he was victorious. Kung Cheung created jars from boulders and brewed a Thai whiskey for his army to celebrate their hard-fought victory. A big mahalo nui loa to our Patreon members, Ollie and Will Geis, gotta keep you kids on your toes, Christopher, Meg, Jessica Bullock, Edward Pueohenki, Felisa H., The Makuli Guy, and of course, Ren Shepard. Your support keeps our show going. If you'd like to support our show, please click the link in our show notes and become a Legends from the Pacific Patreon member to enjoy an exclusive monthly Hawaiian story like the rare story of who the Hawaiian volcano god was before Pele, the second story of the Hawaiian demigod brothers, and other nifty benefits. Your rewards are waiting for you, so become a Legends from the Pacific Patreon member today. The jars are tourist destinations, but it should be noted that tourists stay on the path because they are aware of the potential of discovering bombs in the growth. The jars were named a World Heritage Site in 2019. This is an exciting time since all this is relatively new and archaeologists are utilizing various technology, including drones, to help solve this mystery. As mentioned earlier, I feel this was really cool. Plus, since things are still being discovered, sometime in your future, you'll hear breaking news about the stone jars and you'll know what they're talking about. If you like what you heard, please give us a rating and write a review. I'd really appreciate it, as well as our future listeners. Our theme song is Mystery by Tavana, courtesy of High Sessions. Sound effects by Sound Effects Factory. Our music coordinator is Matt Duffy, aka DJ TripleBypass. Links and show notes can be found on our website, legendsfromthepacific.com, including a link to your featured song, which is I Remember by Sudden Rush, courtesy of High Sessions. Legends from the Pacific was written, produced, and edited by me, Kamuela Kaneshiro. I also wrote our original stories. Your featured Hawaiian word is Omole Waha Nui. Omole Waha Nui means container or jar. An example of Omole Waha Nui is Tupperware is a popular Omole Waha Nui. Once again, Omole Waha Nui is Hawaiian for container or jar. Of course, locals love using Ziploc bags as extra Omole Waha Nui. Thank you once again for listening. Mahalo and a hui ho!
As I watch the sunset near the edge of the sea, I listen to the birds.